Right, so today we have Martyn Gardner, also known as YMO, former member of Lincoln Transit Elite. So how are you today, Martyn?
I'm all right, my old mate, thank you.
Just like to say thanks for doing this interview. So what I do, Martyn, with all my interviews, I'd like to take you back to the beginning. So can you remember when you first went to Lincoln, as in the football stadium, to watch Lincoln play?
Well, I'll tell you a certain memory. I was at home because I actually lived on Sinsel Bank itself, number 85. Moved there when I was 13. And my very first memory of anything like that, my dad was outside. He's not with us no more, but he was outside, sat on the bonnet. He had a brown Austin Allegro, and he was sat on the bonnet. And I went to the window because it was a bay window, and I said to my mum, "What's Dad doing?" He goes, "Oh, he's protecting the car." And I looked outside, and I opened the front door, and he goes, "Get back inside, get back inside." And I just looked, and I could see there was two groups of lads, and I goes, "What's?" He goes, "Get inside." He goes, "It's the Bother Boys," because that was his saying, told me to get back inside. So I went back inside, ran upstairs, looked out their bedroom window, and I could see two sets of lads going for it. It was Sheffield United, or I know it was Sheffield anyway, and it was going off and for a 13-year-old, I looked out the window and I just thought, fucking hell. But I didn't think, shy away from it, or didn't. I just thought, fucking, I was just interested straight away from the age of 13 kind of thing. And that was kind of that. And then I was hanging around I got to know a few local lads, and there was lads from around that estate. Well, it's not even a estate. I mean, we called it the Maze because it was a maze of streets. There was a lad that lived near me, a lad called Skibbo. He was my best mate. His brother went to the games. There was another two lads that lived down a street called Vernon Street. But my point is, they had older brothers, and their older brothers went to the game. So I started hanging around with these lads, and eventually, we used to go down, on a Wednesday night when the games were going on, we used to walk down there, just as you're doing a bit of a gang. There was no L.T.E. then. There was, we weren't aware of things. I mean, my couple of mates probably were, because their brothers were involved in it.
We're older.
And I was hanging around with their younger brothers, so I started to go down the ground. And the last 20 minutes of the game, they'd opened a certain gate. And I thought, oh, this is new. So we're just all rushing up the old back entrance. There used to be an old railway there. The two bridges aren't there anymore. And sometimes we'd climb up, it's quite dangerous, but you could see the game from those bridges. But yeah, the gate had come open, and we're going for the last 20 minutes. And then you'd see a little bit of this, a little bit of that going off. But we were young. We were I could say I was 13, 14, 15, was going to hanging around and getting to know the brothers a little bit more, getting accepted a little bit more. So yeah, that was my kind of first experience going to.
Okay. So when you said you were 13, 14, 15, so really the main question is, Martyn, is when did you start getting involved with Lincoln Transit Elite?
Well, I can't actually remember when the name came about, but I used to work in there's 1982, and I'd be 17. I was on what's called a YOP scheme. I don't know if you remember the Youth Opportunities Programme.
Yeah.
I used to work at a cash and carry, and all our lads had said, look, we're going to Sheffield United away. It was a Wednesday night, and I'm sure it was 82. It was 82 because I'll do something else. It's 81, 82. I'm saying 82.
Right.
And so I've gone straight from work, straight down to the train station, met all the lads, and that's my first ever away game.
Right. And
with the lads, but the name L.T.E. hadn't come out then. We didn't have a name. We were just Lincoln.
And you've just said, because Lincoln, even though you're a lower league side, Lincoln Transit Elite are well known, and I would say well respected. But you've just said you can't really remember how the name came about.
No, well, because I wasn't there that night. I mean, I think there's about 5 lads. People started getting names, monikers, attached to their team attached to their mob kind of thing. I hadn't heard of any because I was still young and I wasn't really into it by then.
Right.
And so the chance of Lincoln were going up in City and things like that. But when the word came out, when the name came out, I mean, I can't even remember when it was. You know, when the actual name L.T.E. Lincoln Transit Lane. I mean, we got the name obviously with the transit bit. We used to go everywhere in transit vans. We used to travel away. We in fact we bought a couple for the sole purpose of sticking lads in and going to 2 games.
Yeah.
And we nicknamed them. We had one of them. I don't know why we called. We had one called the War Wagon, and the other one, like, fuck knows why we called it the Passion Wagon, but we did. And we used to, and sometimes there'd be like 20, 25 lads, you know, rammed into the back of a tranny, and there'd be some carload, some on the train, you know, by any means of transport. But because that was our main form of transport, that's why we called ourselves that.
Okay. No, that obviously makes sense. Now, I'm going to sort of ask you a question because obviously it's been stated before that football casuals, yes, there is football violence involved. But to me and to a lot of people I've interviewed, there's so much more to it. Can you explain what attracted you to it?
Fucking hell, do you want to... well, everything really. I mean, basically, I was a little bit late when it started to come to the dressing side. I went, you know, some lads had more money than others. We had some lads at steelworks, some lads at factories, and they could afford, you know, like to wear the gear and that lot. And
of course, yeah.
When I first spotted a couple of our lads managed to get Pringles. I mean, I was looking at pictures last night because I had to compare, and still nothing compares. I was looking at pictures. I just put in like 80s casuals dress, and you got a mob of lads walking down the street in your lowest fades, your Forest Hills, your trim traps, you know, if you could afford those, your Deodora Borgaleets, your Fila tracksuit. There's nothing could beat that. Even Lyland Scott, you know, you like the old polo neck. I didn't have one of them. I didn't like it. I didn't like it around my neck. But that to me is like a classic look. And I also remembered as well, like, and I don't know why we did it. You know, the split at the bottom of your jeans. Yeah, we did it, and some had massive splits to go over the trainers. I mean, I had a mate, like, he lived in a caravan, and he was selling a pair of Puma. I don't know what they were, not Navratilovas, whatever they were. Just £3 he wanted, and he'd had them on ages, like, and they smelt a bit and that lot, and a bit scruffy. Because he'd worn them, like, and I had the cheek to take them back to Intersport on that Saturday and walk in there and say, fucking hell, I bought these a month ago, like, and I wouldn't leave the shop until this bloke had gone out the back, maybe just to shut me up and give me this new pair of trainers. And I thought it was the bee's knees. I don't know how old I was then, I was probably 17 then. I think I blagged a pair of jeans off someone else, and they were Lois fades. So that's it, yeah, I thought I was fucking great after that. And the thing is, like, when you didn't have a lot of money and you was that age, you wore these clothes every day. Every day. You know, you lived and you died in them, kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, you've just said Intersport was the shop, which shows how long ago it was. So Martyn, you've come across and you've said that you remember lads dressing and stuff. So what was what was the top labels for you? I know you've already said a few, but what was your top labels personally that you felt the bee's knees in?
I did a bit of Googling as well last night, like, because I used to go to Nottingham.
Right.
I didn't used to earn a lot of money, but I used to be a little bit of I used to get money other ways as well, kind of thing. Like, and after a while, I had the notes for some decent clobber, and the place to go was Nottingham. And I remember, like, I had to Google it last night. There was a shop called Redmayne and Todd's in Nottingham. There was another one inside the Broadmarsh. There was Limey's and a shop called Austin Reed's. And I remember going there one day, and I'd heard about this Austin Reed, so I went there. And I'll be honest with you, like, I mean, there was this red Lacoste sweatshirt.
Yeah.
It had quite a big crocodile on it. I bought something else, but shoved that down my bollocks. And, you know, I was feeling a little bit for twat at times, and a lot of times.
And it went on, Martyn. It went on. Yeah.
I fucking did, mate. And that was and those shops sold really good gear. Redmayne and Todd's, you could get a really good trackie from there. But the one in the Broadmarsh, you'd go there on a Saturday, and it wouldn't be just Forest lads. There'd be lads from all over. It'd be rammed full of lads just buying the gear. I mean, and you didn't get smacked or get given the eye or anything. You just went there, got off the train, walked straight to them shops, got what you wanted. But that's like, when Forest Hills were the trainer and the Deodora Borgoli, they were your two main, the best kind of trainers, like your lowest Spades, your lowest cords, your Borg Elite. Not many people wore Armani. I mean, our top lad at the time, he had a couple of Armani jumpers and a few of his mates had Armani tops and Armani leathers, but they were like well out of our league.
Yeah.
I
understand that.
He was on, like, when I went to work at a certain factory, I was on 40 quid a week. And some of these jackets, I mean, God knows how much they cost. I ain't a clue because I wasn't buying them because I didn't have the money.
Yeah.
We used to go to a shop in Boston. This sounds a bit cheap, like, and I think there must have been alarmed because we used to go in there, like, and they had a load of Lacoste in there. We had a mate keeping the bloke at the counter talking, and we'd cut the crocodile off the t-shirts, cut the label out the back and cut the label off the side, go back to Lincoln, we'd get a very similar t-shirt, similar material, get this last we knew, who was an hairdresser, but she was a good seamstress as well, sew the crocodile on, and if your mates had come up to you and say, is that a fucking snide or a Sexton Blake slang for fake, look at you there, look, there's the label, they'd have a look at that label, yeah, nice one. And it won't. We'd like I say, we'd
no, but you did what you had to do, Martyn, and that's the main thing.
Mate. Yes, it was all about the image.
So I've
dresses, casuals.
Yeah, I mean, I've got. This is a really hard question, mate, and obviously there may be a few, but can you remember your best away game?
Best away game. Right, I was on about this to a mate earlier. Can think about best. Well, Scunthorpe, Lincoln, in '84. But I got Nixie. I got arrested before. I didn't even get to the game. It's like Grimsby away in '89. We took one of the biggest and best mobs that we'd ever taken there. Right. They, to me, were our arch rivals, Grimsby.
Yeah.
Naughty little place, right mob. I mean, they had some good lads for the size of it, for its town. They were fucking great, and you couldn't go there with small numbers because you'd just get done. You had to go there with a big mob. And I was living in Laceby at the time, which is on the outskirts of Grimsby. And so I walked from Laceby to the roundabout, which I thought Lincoln would be going that way. And two minibuses pulled in. And they weren't the lads. Our lads had gone. There was all right. There were lads but they weren't who I wanted to be with. And about another 100 had gone via Humberston. The back way kind of thing. And I told these two minibuses not to go where they were going. I thought, fucking, don't. They didn't listen, went down there, pulled outside right near the ground, and it came on top straight away. And I was known to a few of their lads because I'd been in Glenparva and Lincoln Nick, where I'd met a few of them. They knew me. And there was Lincoln police there as well. And they were sort of laughing because they knew my situation, and they said, right, they was telling me to up and fuck off. Now I was surrounded by about 100 Grimsby lads. A lot of my mates have managed to get past, and they all were telling me to fuck off. And there's one lad that used to hang around with in the village, and he was like, Martyn, you want to come with us? And I thought, fucking hell. And he spat at me. And I used to hang around with him. But on a football day, it was like anything goes. But I don't like. I fucking hate spitting, like. And
of course.
I knew what my choices were. If I'd have fucked off and walked down the street, trust me, I'd have got murdered. Not murdered, but a right good kicking.
Yeah.
Because I'm talking like slowly, but it was like very fast. Like he'd spat at me. This lad called Shane. I just went for him in front of the old, all their lads, like got nicked straight away, put in the back of a van. But that was one of the best away days ever. And any Grimsby that watched this will back me up on this one, like, because
we'll testify.
It was proper squeaky bum time for our lads because it nearly came on top for them. It was proper two mobs just fucking at it like big time. So I'm singling out that game. I think it's a scunning game, even though I got nicked at them both.
Yeah. But
You know
no,
what I
that's
mean?
what happens, Martin. You know, you run the gauntlet. Some people get nicked, some people don't. So I ask every interviewee this question. Modern football, mate. What's your opinion?
Modern football.
Yeah, as the game is as it's today, because it's changed, hasn't it, a lot?
Do you know what I mean? Like when we had this chat the other day, was about a lot of the lads that you speak to are season ticket holders. I haven't got a very large attention span. I don't go to a lot of games. I haven't been. I can't remember the last game I went to. I went to Burton away, but I'm not going to go into that one, like because I just peaked too soon and got in a bit of a mess. If a bit greedy, just leave it at that. The season before that, went to Cambridge away. What we'll do, our local pub, we'll call it the Fun Bus, and we'll just get a coach. We'll get a coach load of lads from my local. We'll pick maybe 2 games a season, and they're our big away games. Yeah, and that's about. But I don't go a lot, and I'm not. And I love football, but it's very rare that I'll watch the full 90 minutes, even on telly. I've got Sky and everything, and I'll watch it. I'll watch the first 15 minutes, then turn it over, watch some crime shit, and then I'll just when there's been about 70 minutes, I'll go on BBC One, the final score, and just have a look at that. But what do I think of the actual modern game? Just football, isn't it? The kit's changed. VAR, less said about that the better.
Crap. Yeah.
Last few years, anyway. Yeah, it is what it is. Like, I mean, there's some fucking. I reckon the wages and the money have killed a lot of it.
Yes.
Because like we're in League One now, and the likes of Chef Wednesday that are in League One, Ipswich, Sunderland, 36,000 home game, but they've got big backers, wealthy owners. It's hard to keep up with them. Like it was a lot more balanced in the 80s to 70s, and things were a lot more leveled out. And you was in a certain league for a lot longer. I mean, now it's like when you look at who we're going to be competing against this season, when it comes to wages and things like that, we're not going to attract your £1 million players.
No,
like the likes of Ipswich,
Sunderland,
and Wednesday are. So it's the money's killed it, if anything.
Yeah, no, I agree, Martin. I think that it's more of a business than it is a game these days. It's all about.
It is a business, and when you've got some wealthy Arab owner or some American owner that just wants it as his fucking little toy, like that bloke who owns Chef Wednesday, people, I don't know.
There's no
we're
passion.
all right at the moment where we've got.
Yeah.
No, I think the passion's still there.
Okay, I'm going to ask you: have you ever been to any England games?
Yeah. A lot of our lads we took massive mobs. Not massive mobs, but quite a lot. A lot of our lads went to Poland, Germany, Italy, Spain. I went to the Euro. I went to Euro 2000. Right. That was my first and only time with England away. Right. And it was fucking mental. Charleroi, yeah, it was fucking crazy. I mean, we just thought, right, because we were playing Germany, that the Germans had turned up. And it was going on when we were in Charleroi on, I forget what day it was. I'm not going to nitpick, so I can't remember. It was going off in either Brussels or Bruges. There was loads of England there, and it was just going off big style. There was a pub loads of England, got tear gas, loads of nickings. You'll have seen the pictures. They all got handcuffs, sat down, all came out of the pub with fucking streaming eyes. But we were getting phone calls straight away saying it's going off in Brussels. I'm sure it's Brussels. It's going off anyway. I thought, fucking hell. And we thought, right, it's going to go off with the Germans. And it didn't really. It was mainly with the Turks.
Yeah.
Because within a 200-mile radius or 100-mile radius, there's 2 million Turks. But they only came out at night, when it got a bit dark and we was all mullered.
Yeah. Did you ever find that when you went away with England, which was the only time in 2000, did you ever find the police were heavy-handed with you because you were England? The reputation.
Yeah, well, I'll give an instance. There was no England. There was about 500 England was walking down this street, and it was going off between Derby and Wolves for some reason. I've got photographs in there because I stood taking photos.
Mm.
And then that sorted out, and a few chairs being thrown between England against England because we was frustrated because the Germans hadn't turned up.
Yeah,
and then we were taking a bit of a walk, and then we heard this mob, and we're seeing they come around the corner, maybe about another 500. I thought, fucking hell, we thought it was Germany. It was just another 500 England. So there's like 1,000 England lads then. And the odd window went through, and there wasn't a lot going on, and so lads were just splitting up, getting pissed up. And then at night time, a little bit later on, we went down this street, and then your Turks were coming out then.
Right.
And they were like, you could tell it was getting a little bit naughty. It was like dusk kind of time.
You could
and
tell.
We was all pissed up and whatever, smoking, whatever. And we went down this street, and there was loads of Turks down there. And because we was a bit frustrated, things like that, we just sort of let them have it. And we went from one end, long street full of Turks, to the other, kind of did every Turk in sight. And my mate, he's not with us anymore. We got to the end of the street after smacking every Turk. He went, well, we cleansed that street, didn't we? You know what I mean? Yeah, I know it sounds a little bit like...
Obviously...
We did, and then, I remember this lad, he looked like Borat. He had this little burgundy fucking waistcoat on, and he was going to me. There was quite a few of us wanted me down this street.
Yeah.
And so I've gone walking up to him, and next minute he'd opened his arm and he got a blade in his hand. He had the knife tucked under his armpit, and he caught it. And this kind of great big skinhead fucking rugby tackled him to the floor, and he was undercover police. And he pointed to me and said, you're trouble. I got my eye on you. Fuck off. I thought, all right, it's getting naughty now. And it was. My mate said, right, they're coming out the woodwork, the Turks are, so time to fuck off. There was coming out. But like I say, there was coming out when it was dark. When we first got there, when it wasn't going off, some Turkish bloke there was a family just having a meal. And he just stabbed this bloke, or this lad, and then ran off. And that was the first thing that kind of started that against the Turks off. We weren't really out looking for Turks, but that happened, and we heard about it, and word spread around, and I thought, right, you'll be having some of that later.
Was that I think that was that whole sort of Leeds thing going on, wasn't it, as well? Where
there were blade merchants, weren't there? The Turks.
Yeah, no, yeah, completely.
Aren't they? They're not gonna fucking fight you fair, they like to stab you.
They don't know the rules, because even though I would say, okay, there was violence involved with the football casual culture, but there were kind of rules, wasn't there? There wasn't, even though I'm not going to say England firms did carry blades, certain England firms, but a lot of the other firms, it was just let's have it with, fisticuffs.
Our top lad at the time, I'll give, I don't have to bring it up, we went to Burnley away. I forget what year that was as well. I've got loads of pictures in front of me because I had to recollect my mind.
Yeah.
And it was going off but some of the Burnley were tooled up as well. One of them had a machete and was swinging it around in his car park, but it's going off big style. And one of my mates he didn't get stabbed. He's got his tracksuit cut, and one of our Lincoln lads slashed this Burnley lad, from his neck to his arse, proper opened him up But our top lad went fucking mad. We had to get this lad out of town. He's a good mate of mine, fish with him every now and then. He's a decent lad, quite quiet now. And we didn't realise he had a knife. And we were never known as blade merchants, no Lincoln ever. I've seen it on Facebook before on some sort of banter page where, I've seen Lincoln. I thought, no, because our lad at the time, I'll just call him One Punch.
Yeah.
He just was totally against it. And in fact, all our older lads were. So we just didn't carry blades. Yeah. All right. The old ammonia, in the old Jif bottles, all the ammonia bottles. I got sprayed twice by Lincoln lads. And that when that got you, ammonia in your eyes, that was it. You were fucked. If they were coming at you and they squirted you,
You're at the
And
game.
you was blinded, like, I mean, and if they came
Yeah.
at you, you just curled up and took your pasting line.
Okay, mate. So to finish off, Martyn, what does Martyn Gardner do these days? What's he up to?
Well, I don't work anymore because of my. I've got rheumatoid arthritis, but I'm not going to go on about that too much. Like, it is what it is. So I don't do a lot really. These last few weeks, once a week, last 3 weeks, I've been my hobby's fishing. So
Okay.
I fish or have my kids.
Yeah.
I have my kids once a fortnight. I've got 3 kids. Like, I sort of take in turns having them. Yeah, I have my kids and fish, and that's about it really. I don't do a lot. I mean, I miss work because I was a long distance lorry driver. My weeks are boring. You know, I try and fill them up as much as I can, like. But,
Of course.
and I go down the pub as well. I go down my local with the lads. If it's a home game, you know, my local itself, there's kind of 3 pubs where we go. The Old Guard will be in the town centre at a certain pub. There's the Blue Anchor, which people know about, and the pub where me and my mates drink. And we're all quite old, getting up to what us lads get up to at our age.
Yeah.
You know, still. And that's it. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, right, I've got nothing but respect for any of the lads that were there. I'll say all the 70s, even though I didn't start until late 70s, all the way through the 80s. Not going to slag any firm off, any mob, but no. I'm not going to single out any mob either. I mean, our local rivals at the time were Grimsby, Scunthorpe, Hull. They all had decent mobs. You know, Hull had massive numbers. So you had to go there, you had to be on your guard. Grimsby, you know, they had a great big mob as well for the size of the place. You know, I rated quite a few firms back then that used to come here all the time, as your Burnleys, your Stockport, Hull, you know, yeah, it was, and Sheffield United when we played them, Derby, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's subculture, and it's also social history that shouldn't be forgotten, Martyn, and this is why I do what I do.
We sit in the pub sometimes, like every other mob, I should say, that are a similar age to me, and we'll reminisce about the old times. It's not the same. It's been done. It's gone. It's fucking over.
Mm-hmm.
The internet, mobile phones, CCTV. There's only one winner now, and that's the old Bill. You got to box clever now. I mean, I know, you know, we'll sit in our pub, and it's, you know, about 4 years ago, I wasn't there, like 50 Boreham Wood turned up when we was non-league.
Yeah.
About 10 of our lads went outside because they're not going to let the pub get taken.
No.
They got proper waded into, like, because they had massive numbers, and hardly any of our lads were in there. It's happened a couple of times. But, you know, you've got to be honest now. It still goes on. I'm not interested in it no more, like proper retired.
Yeah.
Yeah, just, you know, I ain't got a fucking scrap in me anymore. But we'll still sit there and talk about it, remember this, remember that, and they were good.
Big part of your life, Martyn. Yeah,
exactly.
Big part of your life.
It'll never go away. And it never leaves you, even though I'm not willing to pound the streets and look for it anymore, which I'm not. It's like, fuck that. You know, it never leaves you. If something goes off, you'll ring someone, or even if I'm fishing and we've got a big,
you'll get that feeling.
I ring up.
Yeah.
Are they brought out? Go off, things like that. You'll ask it like it. I've got lads that are between in the 60s, late 60s, almost 70. They'll ring up and that. They'll come out every now and then, but it's just like to reminisce or.
Yeah.
Just for a butcher's, because it, like I say, it just never ever leaves you.
No. Okay, Martyn. Thank you very much for today. It's been really interesting. It's been really interesting to hear someone from a lower league club. That was the main thing for me. And it's been really interesting to hear your stories. So that was Martyn Gardner. Also known as Wymo, and there'll be more videos coming from UK Casual soon.